A trip to Karuizawa in the winter. Karuizawa is 70 minutes from Tokyo by Shinkansen, a tourist area with very easy access. In winter, Karuizawa has many activities in which you can casually enjoy the abundance of nature. There are also romantic lights in various areas of the town. There are many spots you will want to upload to the SNS. Come and have experiences you can only get in Karuizawa during the winter.
And Happy New Year from Miyota. Thank you very, very much for joining us. WCT Japan New Year Curling in Miyota 2024, and now it is in fact 2024. In Miyota, Hans Fraunhoff along with Dave Schmel, and it's semifinal time, and we're really glad you're along with us. And Dave, not quite New Year yet, but here we are, semifinal time, and come back after really, was it a late night last night here in Miyota? We're not sure, but early morning semifinal action should be fun.
Yeah, not exactly a late night for me, that's for sure, but looking forward to seeing a good game here.
Yui Ozeki playing the Red Rocks. Team Nakamura playing the Yellow Rocks. Team Ozeki enjoying last rock advantage.
Getting ready to celebrate New Year's here on the East Coast of the U.S. in about 5.5 hours.
Trying to sweep that one up level. In the front 8 foot. Miori Nakamura holding the brush.
Looks like we have our first double takeout attempt coming here. Yeah, that one appeared to trek back towards the center line, Hans.
An early chance here. Ozeki with the hammer. Rika Tateda. It's going to come to rest right beside the higher of the two stones, and that actually has that made a potential triple easier just the way that they're lined up now.
Should have a good opportunity to get two of them, if not all three. You're definitely going to be thrown at the same pile now. And the advantage is you've just had a look at the ice.
There's 1, 2, 3 stones in motion. Triple takeout. Hello. Happy New Year. Look at that smile. That's the way to start the year. What was your New Year's resolution? Moving 120 pounds of granite with one shot.
My resolution would be not to have that be the only triple I made this year.
Squad goals. Well, that one turned the end around in a big hurry.
Yeah, it looks like we might be running up and down for a minute here now.
Two semifinal games in action. We'll try to keep an eye on the other game for you. Nakamura versus Ozeki here in our feature game, and in the other semifinal, Team Fortius from Sapporo, Team Nakamura, Yoshimura. They came into the semifinal unbeaten. They're playing Miyota. So the winner of these two games will face each other in the final later today.
Team Ozeki.
It's been a fun tournament, Dave, eh?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Truly. Ozeki making the trip up from Tokyo up here to the Highlands for the trip. It's been a lot of fun to watch. And what I've really enjoyed is watching everybody's positive attitude through the whole time. And unfortunate miss there with that one. And it's been good to watch the teams adjust through the week to the conditions.
Mao Ishigaki getting caught out. The right-hand side of the picture as we look at it, going away from the glass. It's been a tricky spot for the entire weekend, and Mao was caught out on that one. Chance now for Miori Nakamura to split the house and set up the force.
This one needs to settle down. It will hold on to the back.
So the force is potentially in action. Teams did draw for last rock, so even though Team Nakamura came in here 4-0, it is Team Ozeki with hammer here in the first end.
That, Hans, has seemed to have been the answer to that line, just coming right at the stone with a lot more weight. And that's been the much surer way to make that takeout.
Good adjustment there from Mao Ishigaki after missing on her first. Misaki Tanaka, fourth stone thrower. Miori Nakamura skips the end, but Misaki throws the last rocks. And there's a nice shot. So this end turned around massively on the fantastic triple takeout by Haruka Kihara, excuse me. Still early on New Year's Eve for New Year's Day here. New Year's Eve in the USA and Canada. just gone past midnight in Europe. So if you're in Europe and you're watching curling just after New Year's, congratulations to you and welcome aboard. Yui Ozeki makes the nose hit, and by making the nose hit, leaves herself sitting second shot. Won't really change the shot choice at all for Team Nakamura. They're just going to play the hit and set up the force. Very nicely executed, and that will set up the force. Really interesting, this tournament spanning 2 years, and we're kind of still in that mode now. It's 2024. Here in Miyota. Dave, not quite 2024 where you are. So we're spanning the years as well as spanning the globe.
And the wide world of sports thought they had a big thing. Ha!
Exactly. They got nothing on curling in Japan on New Year's Day.
Spanning the globe.
Exactly. A constant variety of sport. Trying to hit and stick against, too. This one is curling. Is it going to stick around? Yeah, well, we'll wait for the overhead. It does look like it's a count of 1. We'll just wait for the verification. They don't seem disappointed at all. The rocks come off, so let's make the assumption that it was a score of 1 for Team Ozeki after 1 end of play in the semifinal. Team Ozeki won. Team Nakamura will have hammer playing 2.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms, light as a feather.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And is the choice of champions.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Light up your love for curling with our customizable neon LED lights from Letterlands. Choose your new neon mixed doubles partner or make a statement with a neon curling rock in your window. Also actual Letterlands. Use discount code WHOA for 15% off. Only at Letterlands.com.
Second end of play underway in Miyota. Team Ozeki forced to take 1 in the first end, so Miori Nakamura and her teammates from Aomori will have last rock here in end number 2. Interesting play into the ring, so Team Nakamura not really looking to mix it up too much here by the looks of it, Dave.
Yeah, especially being there in the center. I think they're just trying to play this one a little bit conservatively, get a feel for this side of the ice, because I think they saw themselves almost get in trouble right off the bat there. So wanted to make sure that they execute well here and set themselves up for a good game.
You're absolutely right about that. They were scrambling in the first end until that amazing triple takeout. Maybe the shot of the tournament. It was kind of set up, but you got to make it, and Haruka made it fantastically. Once again, trying to wrap around the center guard. Yuna Harada comfortably by that center guard. They do have to be careful not to tick it, of course, and this one is going to slide deep, and, well, does it cling on the back? Not kicking it away yet. We've certainly seen a lot of the biter measure over the last 3 days as Miori takes a look at it and decides, okay, that's gone. Leave them sitting there. It just becomes something that you're going to trip over anyways.
So they indicated to tap up their own guard here because you look there, Nakamura wasn't able to wrap under either. So the ice might be running just a touch straight this morning.
Yeah, certainly not the big swoop 5.5 feet of curl that we see so often on tour, but it does present its own opportunities in terms of different paths and different shots that become possible when the ice isn't moving quite as much, and the tap, of course, becomes a little bit more prevalent. Just off nose, hops the stone into the open, biting front forefoot.
And so much about playing the tap game is having a firm weight control and having communication between your brushers and your skip, because all those variables have to be right for the taps to be executed. Whereas with the draw, if you don't have the weight right by a foot or so, it's really more line-based calling, whereas a tap needs to have both elements there.
Another lovely takeout from Haruka Kihara. Rieki Tateda, we'll call that a balk. I think I saw her do this yesterday as well. Going back on the drawback, and all of a sudden, boom, your foot hits a stone behind you. So stand up, reset, move the rock, try it again.
I forget what club I was at, but there was a club where that backboard was so close that some people would actually kick off of it when they want to throw some heavy weight.
Yeah, it's kind of like the third hack, right?
Yep.
So the stone's creeping a little bit further forward in the rings. Nakamura's going to be looking, I think, for an inside roll. Kihara eyes it up. Going to be just off nose, and well, Haruka can't help herself. Made a triple in the first, might as well pick that one off in the back. Triple double single takeout so far for Haruka. Only a quad away from the cycle, Dave.
Oh, there we go. Let's get that quad. The triple's the hardest one, right?
Yeah, exactly. Now Ishigaki nose hits, and this stone is kind of gradually working its way forward out of the house, and another nose hit might be off the rings. Miori Nakamura. The skip is now down in the hack to deliver. Third stones. This team from Aomori, the extreme north of Honshu. Lovely city on the bay. Gets the hit. Might have crept it onto the front ring. Looks like it from the overhead. Yui's
I'm
going to
gonna
have a
say
look at it.
Yeah, I think it's on. So she.
That'll do, says Miori. Now Ishigaki's going to try to get that elusive inside roll. Everybody's been looking for it. Nobody's been able to pull it off yet. And this one is going to be a cross nose. That is a good roll. Might just pop out the other side.
Yeah, a little longer than they would have liked to went there.
So close. Now, Dave, you mentioned earlier this turn probably being preferred down the straighter side.
Yeah, you want to just come right at it with some good pace here. You don't want to leave too much curling into question there. Just never give up the rock and go and hit it. And they did a good job of that right there.
Once again, nose hitting. We'll probably leave the stone off the rings here. We're down to 4th stones. 8 endgame.
In our other semifinal, it was Miyota who got a single point in the first end of their game. So they have a 1-0 advantage.
Yui Ozeki. She would love a little 2-foot inside flop. Doesn't get it. Stays off the rings, and so it'll be interesting to see Team Nakamura decide to get aggressive, or are they going to play it conservative? Nope, I like this call. Go for the skipper's deuce. Although in this team's alignment, you would have to call it the 4th throwers too. Really? It's been difficult to bury, even on the parts of the ice, and this is probably outside in the area here on sheet B that does give the most movement and the best chance to bury, but even then, picking the line has been really tough. Tanaka trying to draw around.
Yeah, nevertheless, I do like the attempt at it, but it does look like this has to go.
Massive, massive sweep, and now Tanaka comes in to join, but it will come up about a foot short of the rings. Had great line. Just about 6 feet light. Now a great chance for Yui Ozeki to tap the center guard straight back behind cover.
I don't mind.
I like the shot call. I mean, I like the attempt.
Oh, absolutely. I like that attempt, and I like that call, but the shot I actually prefer right now would be to tap in actually the one that's a little bit further off on the 4-foot and roll the shooter in. And that you'd split your own stones on, and then you should have your force there for sure.
Yeah, those are both very valid calls. If you split on, you're absolutely going to get a force. But if you've still got potential steal in the back of your minds, maybe you try the tap straight back and get it to front button under cover and maybe steal the end. You need perfect line, though. This one's got a lot of curling to do. It's going to pop that stone into the open, I think. It's going to come deep in the rings, and it is actually going to sail through the rings. Now, is that rock splittable? Do you take that on, Dave? Looks like they're having a go.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how much you value hammer it this early in the game. If you're okay with only getting one, it's worth the attempt to get two. But if you feel like you need to score two every time with hammer, that all goes back to your team's mindset. Personally, with just having had the tough time with that wraparound, and that lined into exactly what they want there. They weren't really too firm on the weight. It's a pretty tough shot. Definitely can't say it's easy.
Yeah, you're really just going to have to graze it going by with about back 8 foot weight to make, I think. So it's very, very precise if they're going to take it on. It looked like Misaki wanted to throw it right away, and now they're changing turn, which is really interesting. Thinking then, okay, if we squeak, they're going to have to squeak red to make it this way. I'm honestly not sure they can make it on the in turn side. Maybe they're just going to play this way to go across face. Yes, I'm sure that's what they're doing. Choosing the straighter turn, still trying to go across the face of the yellow stone, trying to split for 2 here. Lots of rotation. Almost Nicholas Adine-like, really. Well, it's definitely not going to get across nose. It will tap straight forward for a single point. Will it stay in the rings? Nobody can decide whether they wanted to sweep it out or not. It does stay in the rings for a single point, so an interesting end to an interesting finish to an interesting end. And after 2 ends of play here in Miyota, we are tied at 1.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
A trip to Karuizawa in the spring. Only takes 1 hour by Shinkansen to Karuizawa from Tokyo. You can enjoy abundant nature and various experiences. Visit Karuizawa in the spring.
And welcome back to Miyota. Hans Frauenlob here with Dave Schmel. 3rd end to play. We are deadlocked. It's the semifinal. The WCT Japan New Year Curling in Miyota 2024. New Year's Day. It is 2024 in Miyota. For our friends in North America, we know you haven't quite ticked over to the new year yet. You've got that ahead of you, but in Japan, it is the new year.
Yeah, Hans, we had a little bit more of a cautious end out of both teams last end. After a bit of a whirlwind in the first end, I think both teams were looking to take a bit of a breather and play something a little bit simpler. We did have the opportunity for a deuce for Nakamura, but it was a tough one. So no harm done. We just start all over again. We're playing a 6-end game now.
Nako Sonobe lines it up. Yeah, we were talking off air between ends. I have to say, I like the attempt at the split, even though it was a really tough split, as you said, Dave. But why not have a crack? Even end. You don't like the force, but I don't mind taking on a bit of a risk for a 2. Multiples are hard to come by sometimes, and so if you get a chance, even if it's a slightly tougher chance, why not have a go? And Misaki Tanaka, she didn't hesitate as soon as the opportunity was presented. They weren't looking at blank at all. They were all thinking about how can we make the split.
And that's a big part of it. That's if your first instinct is to throw it, that's a shot that you're most likely to make.
Harada urging her teammates on a very nice sweep to get it by the guard and get that little flop fully behind cover. Terrific shot.
Absolutely. It's even overburied a little bit. It's very, very good, especially because it runs so straight the other direction. It's in a tough spot to get without peeling out.
Yes, apologies. That was Haruka Kihara making that shot. She's been lethal on the takeouts here in the early going in this semifinal. Great looking line here. That is a tough shot and played very well. Bumps it into the open. It was not easy, but that was very well played.
Yeah, definitely a big shot. That's one that they need right there. And with the takeout attempt made there. So now Team Ozeki facing 2 stones. Looking to take on this double takeout here. Here's Rika Takeda with that takeout attempt. Clips the 1 and going to roll on out, so it will leave Nakamura sitting 1 stone in the house. And they're going to look to place a draw right underneath that guard again to set up the force. They're going to play the big swinging turnover towards the boards here. Very delicate weight shot here. We haven't seen a tremendous number of draws yet in this direction.
Good looking line though.
And they're going to sweep it right to the top of the 4-foot. So they will lie 1 and 2.
So some problems now for Team Ozeki.
Yeah, it was a couple of made shots there that really have applied the pressure. Now, as you see there, taking a good look at it, we have the opportunity to slash it off if you play really tight to that guard. If you ever miss it, you're in a boatload of trouble. But I presume peeling the guard's not a bad outcome either.
Yeah, if you move the guard, it's not terrible. You would like to kind of keep your shooter around, though, I think. If you could. Well, we can hear from the sweeping call. This one's got some curling to do. I'm going to get a little bit of contact, but I don't think they're going to push a Yellowstone out of the rings. No, it's going to stick around back 12. Does at least kind of get them into the open, but force is absolutely on now.
And I like them going right back to the well here and drawing into the same place because we just demonstrated how difficult it is to get to and how easy it is to jam. So why not make them throw that high difficulty shot again?
Miori Nakamura. Pretty well clear of the guard. Now they're sweeping for curl. It's got lots of weight. It's going to come just past T, I think. Comes into the back forefoot, and they're trying to sweep it out of the freeze zone, I would say. Now a little pocket available now for Team Ozeki. New Year's, of course, is a big deal all over the world, but particularly here in Japan. Time for real celebration.
Absolutely. My uncle at one point was in charge of the pyrotechnics display in Tokyo, and they would have as many as 6 barges.
That must be like the coolest job ever.
Yeah, Hank Schmel, may he rest easy, was known as the godfather of rock and roll pyro. Designed all of he designed all
boom.
Yeah, he designed all the pyro for Kiss.
Okay. Now, okay. We're going to have to come back to that one. Don't want to lose the thread on the game here, but boy, oh boy, pyrotechnics in Tokyo and for Kiss.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. Team Nakamura trying to figure out how they can rock and roll all night and party every day here. I'm not sure that they can get at that stone that's in the front of the button. You can see it's 2/3 hidden behind that center guard. So are they looking just to kind of protect the path here, Dave? Whose second shot do you think?
Ooh, I think that Nakamura is playing 1-2 right now. So if they are lying 1-2, I do like a guard here because then the play back for Ozeki likely would be on the one in front of the T line. And the force would still be in play.
Yeah, that was kind of my thinking process too. Why would you guard? And then when we had a look at the overhead, I think, oh, well, maybe they are lying 1-2. This one creeping over towards that guard. A little bump and feather doesn't hurt him at all. Sits up right alongside. So immediately, Yui Ozeki lining up the stone on the edge of the forefoot.
Now, this is one where you're not going to have a lot of ice to play with because you're in that extremely, extremely straight path. So you're going to have to take less ice than your mind tells you to, or else you're just going to jam that yellow rock right into the other one and still not be sitting shut.
And this was the risk that Team Nakamura took on by throwing the guard, because this is a makeable double. Gonna have to get close to the guard to make it, but Yui Ozeki did not hesitate. She wants to throw it. And this one is going to be well clear of the guards if she got anything at all. goes across the top and jams.
And that was that danger I was afraid of. Now, Nakamura is definitely able to look for a steal here. And not only that, Hans, it looks like they may be looking to apply pressure and throw another one in there.
Well, if you could wedge another one in there, not only do you kind of lock in the force, but you might get a steal of 2 out of it. And we've seen that Masaki Tanaka is not afraid to kind of go for it in certain situations, and it does look though it is pretty much a straight guard here.
Nothing wrong.
Stop curling! Stop curling!
Nothing wrong with that, Rock.
Definitely takes away the red tap. So it does mean that the force is on.
Yeah, they're just going to get a piece of the button now.
Yeah, really no other shot. That guard cutting down the path to the button. And this one is going to have to wrap around those guards. Gonna need to get near to a piece of the button to score. So tough shot. See, Yui's going to need at least a quarter of the button here. Shot's on its way. Last rock of the third end. Yui Ozeki playing a very, very tough come-around draw. And this one is all over the guard, so it's going to be a steal of a single point for Team Nakamura. And they take the lead after 3 ends of play. Just confirming the score, it is 1 yellow. So a point on the board for Team Nakamura. After 3 ends of play, Nakamura 2, Ozeki 1.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Light up your love for curling with our customizable neon LED lights from Letterlands. Choose your new neon mixed doubles partner or make a statement with a neon curling rock in your window. Also actual Letterlands. Use discount code WHOA for 15% off. Only at Letterlands.com.
And number 4 underway here in Miyota, the WCT Japan New Year Curling in Miyota 2024. Miori Nakamura coming into this game unbeaten, taking on Yui Ozeki in this semifinal game. The winner will advance to the final later today. And Happy New Year. It is New Year in Miyota. And the curlers are up early on New Year's Day, duking it out in the semifinal. After giving up the steal, Yui Ozeki says, okay, time to go to the offense, setting a corner guard. So, Dave, this could be a very interesting fourth end.
Well, absolutely. We saw Nakamura move right to the offensive when the opportunity presented itself. And with that steal, Ozeki really needs to make something happen now and wants to put this game, and most importantly, going to the break, put their team and their mindset in the right footing.
Excellent guard from Yuna Harada.
Now, that guard being right there on the center line, you don't have the tick available now, so gonna be interesting whether we come around that whole pile right now or we throw another corner guard. Looks like possibly the double corners in play here.
Stone's accumulating rapidly. This one's coming into the rings. Now they're going to look to try and sweep it as deep as they possibly can, but they're just going to get it front four. In that awkward place, I think they've got enough cover on the corner guard to force the play onto the outturn side for the right-handers. We've talked about this spot being quite a tricky spot. It's a bit straight off the boards, and when you're having to throw towards the boards, as Kihara is doing here, we've seen some wayward lines, so it's a tricky shot. Misaki Tanaka leaning on the brush. Actually, if anything, they overswept that. Get a nice roll back across into the open.
I think that's just a bit of a result there that we've seen so many stones go awry there. It's the old
never lift the brush, right?
the old hit the rock first and ask questions later.
Yeah. So time for Yui Ozeki to pull the parachute. Deal with the center guard. A little grimace on the face from Marika Tateda. You kind of know when you come out of the hack whether it is a pristine, beautiful slide or a not so beautiful slide. And the expression from Marika told me everything I needed to know. That a little course correction there, but she did manage to clip off that center guard. Nice shot. Nakamura asking Haruka Kihara to throw a guard. Haruka's had a terrific game hitting. Let's see what she can do throwing a guard stone. Good weight. Maybe it's going to overcurl a fraction. Shows about half of the front stone, I think.
Quick update from our other semifinals. Ueno has scored a single point, so they're trading single points right now. That game is 2-1 after 3.
Both semifinals very close.
On serve, so to speak.
Indeed. Center guard moved off. That redstone lurking out there in corner guard position is going to maybe choke off the outturn. That's probably far enough clear of the 4-foot circle to make the scoring zone accessible for Team Ozeki later in the end. Lots to play for here in Miyota. We've talked about it before, so apologies if you've been following the entire game or entire tournament, but it is worth re-mentioning how the prize purse here in Miyota was assembled, Dave. It's a great story.
Yeah, absolutely, Hans. They did a round of crowdfunding and raised 2.25 million yen in crowdfunding, which is about 16,000 USD.
It's an absolutely tremendous story and a real testament to the town of Miyota and the way that the organizers and the entire community have embraced this tournament, doing everything they can to make it happen, everybody chipping in one way or another. A fantastic story. Knows it.
Somebody, absolutely. Ooh,
Moving 2, moving 3. That rearranges it.
It certainly does. And while we apologize that we said that story a few times, if you heard it a few times, thanks for watching.
Absolutely.
So we had decision time here. You could draw underneath of that, taking a look at that. It splits off the 2 and just jams in there, but a nice double takeout there.
Does open up the forefoot for Team Ozeki. Miori Nakamura. I'm going to try to wrap one around that center and try to ideally sit front forefoot.
And this shot, if made's really going to apply that pressure again. So they are looking to steal and steal often.
And this one is tracking down that straight path, and now it's going to finish, but it is a bit heavy. It's going to go deep. Will it stay in the rings or not is the question. And the answer to that question, well, we're not quite sure yet. Yes, it does stay just in the back ring. Not what they were looking for. It does bring the force onto the table, but does also create an opportunity now for Team Ozeki to really, for the first time in the game, get themselves into a position where they're generating offense with the hammer. Great chance to wrap one around here and set up a 2.
Yes, you absolutely have to go right where they tried to go the last time and get one under there yourself.
Now Ishigaki. No, that is a beaut. Waiting front button, nearly fully buried. I would say at least, well, probably half to 2/3 buried. Perfect weight.
It's pretty good. Yeah, pretty good on the Richie Ronan scale.
We'll look at the replay. They're reasonably well clear of that guard. That stays another half a rock higher. This one is much more set up to jam, but maybe a chance to squeeze that one past the Yellowstone and lie 2. Misaki Tanaka just verifying the weight with her teammates. Haruka Kihara saying not as much rotation as she normally throws. Thereby, are they going to curl enough to get it past the yellow? Yes, they do. That is an excellent, excellent shot from Misaki Tanaka.
And I hear a cowbell in the background, and that's
more cowbell.
That is well called for because that was just perfect. It was well managed. He had great communication from the front end, and you see just squeaks by that guard and then rolls even. Very nice.
Terrific shot. Let the bells ring for the new year. Marika Tateda delivers second stones, but holds the brush for Yui Ozeki when it's her turn to throw. Lots of pressure now on this shot. Does Tanaka and Nakamura look on? Really does need to hide here and get shot. Now Ishigaki thinks it's heavy. Weight looks not bad, but it's well clear of the guard. I'm not sure how much cover they're going to get. Going to come to rest just on the tee line, covering the pin. Weight was perfect, Dave. Just did not get enough curl to get behind cover, I don't think.
Yeah, well, the good news is you dialed in the weight for the draw that you're going to throw next.
One point.
As we see there, looking at it from there, it's gettable again. You want to make sure that you make the shot and don't flirt with that guard too much. Danger of getting too cute here and giving up an easy deuce when you don't have to.
Sounds like they have contact now, at least. Sweeping for curl. Make the chip, make the roll. Push it over to the edge of the forefoot, and Team Nakamura live 4.
And that's all you had to do there.
So job done, really, for the Aomori foursome as we have another look. This team's been very impressive. Team Philosik Aomori. So big moment in this semifinal. Yui Ozeki needs to hit the forefoot. She's drawing against 4. Hachi means 8. And it's deep. And it is going to slide into the back of the 8-foot. And so it is a steal of 3. Wow. Big end for Team Nakamura. Yui Ozeki needed the 4-foot just a few feet heavy, and that few feet of distance cost them 3 points. Team Nakamura lead it 5-1 in the semifinal here in Miyota.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
And a very warm welcome back to the Miyota Curling Hall, the WCT Japan New Year Curling in Miyota. Happy New Year, New Year's Day in Miyota. Hans Fraunlob along with Dave Schmel. Halfway through this semifinal game, Miori Nakamura and her team from Aomori, with that big steal of 3 in the 4th end, enjoy a 5-1 lead over Yui Ozeki and her team from Tokyo. 4th end break, kind of our favorite part of the competition, Dave. At some point, we're going to figure out what are the halftime snacks.
It's definitely interesting to find out there, but as we're waiting for the snacks, We saw there at that last end, Hans, just how important that weight control is. And even though it would appear to be a routine draw to the forefoot, that's never necessarily routine. So that's a strategy lesson to folks out there. It's a no-risk steal. If you just make your opponent draw for one against a whole lot of yours, you win a lot of matches that way.
Yep, just 4 feet heavy with the draw. Seems like such a short distance, kind of just 1.5 steps, but that crucially creates the steal of 3. So as quickly as that, Team Nakamura have established a degree of control here in the semifinal game. The other semifinal we can see on the right-hand side of our screen. They're heading to their 4th end break. So in about an hour from now, we are going to know who is going to advance to the final game and have the chance to grab that million-yen check. And I do hope that at the end of it, there is one great big check with 1 million on it. That would look fantastic, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, because it'd be for 1 million yen.
Absolutely. I would love to be able to hold up a check that said 1 million on it at the end of a curling tournament. Now we see Tsuyoshi Yamaguchi doing the Japanese commentary. G'day to Yama, how you doing? I've had the pleasure of curling against Tsuyoshi in the past, and one of the true good folks in this sport. Okay, well, we have missed snack time, so we're just never going to know, unfortunately, what the halftime snacks are. We do see some hydration there. We do see the bag full of stuff.
I had a peppermint patty.
Okay, well, nothing wrong with the peppermint patty. I went leftover Christmas cookies myself for the halftime break. So I hope you're enjoying your snacks wherever you are in the world. Grab some popcorn, grab whatever your favorite snack and beverage is. It is New Year's Eve in North America, and it is New Year's Day in Japan. So it is time to celebrate. Snacks entirely allowed.
So it'll be interesting, Hans, to see how Nakamura handles this now. If they feel like a 4-point lead is enough to move into protect mode, or if they're going to try to keep their foot on the accelerator.
Excellent point, Dave. And they've had that 5-minute break to talk about that and get on the same page around how they want to play the second half of the game. And it does look like they've elected to play into the rings. Sensible play in my mind, because it does keep the options open. Yuna Harada, she's had a very steady game at lead with Team Nakamura, setting it up well.
And now for Ozeki, they're going to have to get guards up there. They're going to have to get rocks in play and make this house busy, despite Nakamura's pleading and hope and effort to try to keep it simple. So we have two very differing goals this end. So it'll be a battle of wills and, most importantly, a battle of execution.
Hinako Sonobe being asked to throw a corner guard. Now Ishigaki sweeping it over this hog line. It's in play. It's a long guard. And the smooth slide of Yuna Harada. Masaki Tanaka pivoting. Trying to make a curl, trying to keep it straight, trying to make a curl, trying to keep it straight. Straddling the center line. Nicely done. Not sure there's a port between the guards, Dave. You might have to stand it up on its side and roll it through.
That's not likely to happen, so I think Ozeki is going to embrace the clutter here. It's going to come into the rings early and probably try to freeze down onto what has just been thrown and try to set up some taps later. Probably just a little bit lighter than they would have liked.
Good sweep from Tateda and Ishigaki to get it there. But there is about a 6-foot gap between that stone in the front ring and the shot rock. It's kind of tempting for Team Nakamura to say, oh, well, stack them up, wrap another one around. But as you said right off the top, Dave, the thing that they should really be asking themselves is, what were we trying to do here when we started the end?
Yes, we're only 4 rocks in, and I don't know if abandoning our end plan is really something that is necessary quite yet. Because all you're doing by throwing these additional rocks into the house is giving Ozeki more to work with. This is what they need if they're going to generate a multiple score.
Kihara doing another front stone. So the stones are absolutely accumulating, and they are actually going to try to wrap around that stone in the front 12, and they're going to hide a corner. That is both a brave call and a pretty well executed throw. Potential double takeout across the top here. She's going to have to squeak the guard to do it, though.
Yeah, that one's going to make you grit your teeth if you take it on. It looks like they're going to play down to it and tap it back just a little bit and leave it there as a catcher. I do like that call.
Reika Tateda being asked to just rearrange the stones in the rings here a little bit. But as Dave pointed out, stones are accumulating, so Team Ozeki will not mind that one little bit. Don't quite get the feather on the top stone, but they do push the Nakamura stone back into the rings. That's a pretty good result.
I'd say that's about 1.5 inches away from ideal. So that's pretty darn good. Ideally, you would have
a fraction.
Yeah, you would have, if you were just 2 inches off the center line, you would have been presented with a better range of angles to get to the shot stone eventually.
Haruka Kihara. Real game of cat and mouse developing here in end number 5. Team Nakamura with a 5-point lead. Center guards up, choosing to throw more guards, defending their shot stones in the rings. Taking a little bit of a chance doing it because there was red stones in the front rings. Potential counters for Team Ozeki.
So now we see moving to the double peel here, and this is a great call because what it's going to do is make your red rocks usable now.
Stones in motion. Peels away one of those red stones in the top 12 foot. It does leave a center guard up in the process, however.
Yeah, a bit of an unlucky break there.
The yellow stone belonging to Team Nakamura. Edge of the button. Pretty well protected right now.
And we can see our scoreboard over there. It is tied up after 4 in the other semi.
That game between Team Yoshimura, Team Fortis from Sapporo, and they're taking on Mayu Ueno and Karizawa. Talked briefly about bringing this one into the rings, but I heard the Japanese word abunai. I don't have a ton of Japanese vocabulary, but the Japanese that I do know, I understand that word means dangerous. So I think they're going to decide to keep this one short of the rings.
Well, you're a little bit ahead of me there, buddy. Japanese is about my 27th best language.
So they will indeed leave the stone in tight guard position, just blocking the path into the forefoot. Good shot. Dave, it's really been kind of decided from early in the end by Team Nakamura that they were going to be quite happy, even with a 4-point lead, to try and guard this one out.
It's a long way to go to hold a guard there on that one stone, and it's just going to take one miss. I mean, right now, if this were to be hammer, there would be a shot for a deuce right now in the long run. There's a choice. There's a long run available, obviously very difficult. So, but there's always going to be some shot right now with all the reds being focused on one side of the sheet. So now, does Ozeki want to take a go at opening things up here? And maybe even sacrificing some of her own rocks? Or trying to play a little bit more of a low weight shot? And I think we're going to see us rearrange the deck chairs here some.
Yeah, I think they might consider a different kind of play if they weren't looking at 2, but they are right now. Their opponents are lying not only shot, but second shot. Even if you're playing a front stone in, you'd love to figure out a way to keep the raised stone somehow in play. Chest off nose. Sends rocks careening left and right. Does open a path. So it does keep the red stones both raisable in the sense that they're not overlapped.
So if Nakamura holds true to form here, I would expect to see another guard, and that's where the broom's going.
3 stones each to come here on end number 5. Yui Ozeki with hammer, but Miori Nakamura just trying to put another brick in the wall. This one's going to creep towards the house. They don't want to set up a natural tap, trying to bump and get some separation, but I think they've lined it up, Dave. Yellow red onto the shooter by the looks of it to me.
It does look like that. If we flip up to the overhead, we'll get a look at it. It's there all day. And technically twice today and twice this year.
Exactly. Where are we? What year is it?
When will then be now? Soon.
They do have to give some thought. Not only, of course, they're going to try to promote yellow-red onto the shot rock and leave themselves lying shot, but they need to think about the angles about where the leave is going to be on that promoted red stone, because there is a chance that they just leave the yellow run straight back if the red gets into a spot where the front stone becomes easily promotable. Maui Shigaki taking a long look at it before she starts her delivery motion. Playing the double raise. Try to keep it high side if they can. Very nicely played. overlap stones at the front ring defending that red stone, and that does turn the end right around.
Yeah, that was brilliant execution there. And there's that danger that Nakamura was playing with by leaving all these rocks in play. Eventually, with just that one little half shot of that guard drifting too deep, it set Ozeki up with certainly not an easy shot, but a very makeable one.
Dave, now do you mentally shift gears and say, all right, we made a mistake. They punished our mistake. But now does your mind switch to force and go kind of all in for force here? Is it time to kind of stop taking risks and really just concede the one and make it really hard to take two?
Well, yeah, I think, obviously moving to a force would be a great thing. The question is that even still available? You might be locked into a deuce almost at this point.
Left-hand side of the sheet looks inviting, but we've seen there's not a ton of curl coming off the board towards the button area. So that dictating the shot choice here a little bit. They're looking to make a play on that red stone at the top 12. Misaki Tanaka, the fourth stone thrower. Jumping it immediately. Got to get by that guard, and they don't want to jam their own. They just sneak it by. Doesn't help their cause a ton, though. It does line up a double raise, but shot rock still quite well protected.
It's going to be interesting to see how he can work in here. If you were to draw around there to where they're indicating right now, then you're basically daring your opponent to throw the double raise. And I think you almost want them to throw it.
No, I'm 100% with you there, Dave. I mean, this is, for me, the key moment in the game coming up right here. Yui Ozeki can get behind those two reds, as you say. You give it back to Misaki Tanaka, say, okay, try that double raise. If you miss it, we've got a shot for 3, and we are right in this game.
If you make this one, you're probably a cinch for 2.
That's true. Even if the double raise was made, it would be hard to see it being double raised and sticking. Shot's on its way. They're by the guard. Now they're willing it to stop. That stone comes maybe 4 feet deeper than they would have liked, but they left a pinball shot here by sitting alongside their shot rock.
Yeah, that might have just gotten Nakamura out of jail. Gets past there. Now the question is, can you get down to that pocket with enough weight to jiggle through there and not leave something back? Because I know you can get there, but it's not so much the make, but the leave that's going to be important.
You can see that center guard is defending that pocket pretty well. And if you try it on the intern side, that's a very narrow port. So if you want to throw any kind of weight, you're going to clip the top yellow and you're going to give your opponent a draw for 3. So this is by no means a fire it and throw the double takeout kind of shot. This is more like follow that draw down with maybe a foot extra weight and nudge them around a little bit. So it's going to be a very difficult shot for Misaki Tanaka.
And with that shot being so tough, it almost brings me back to, with a 4-point lead, just throw that double raise and make sure you only give up 2.
That's a very, very good point, Dave. That double run, yellow onto red, is absolutely there. You would be conceding 2, but at this point, you'd be kind of happy about that relative to what you'd be feeling like if they do drop a 3 here. And they're taking another look at that double raise, I think, Dave.
I think it's certainly worth a look. This might have been a time when the front end decided to throw a challenge flag.
Well, after all the discussion, let's see. We'll get an idea when Misaki comes out of the hack what kind of weight she's throwing. It does look like it is the back button weight draw. First job is get by all the guards in the front. The narrow port to navigate. Sweeping for curl. Are they by? Yes, they are. This has got great line. Tickles 1, tickles 2. Terrific, terrific shot. Moves 2 reds, but those reds are still in second and third shot position. There is a difficult but potentially makeable shot for 3 here for Yui Ozeki, but Misaki Tanaka could not have thrown it much better than she did, Dave.
Yeah, and that's a situation that we were talking about, Hans. She literally just threw the best shot you could possibly make. You see it just squeaks by the guard, and they drive it over, makes contact with both of them, but in order to thread that port, the weight was just about hack, and there wasn't enough energy left to move those stones out of scoring position. So there's no option here. This is a shot you're taking on.
Great look there on the in-turn side through the port for the right-hander. Probably thinking hack weight, I would say.
Yeah,
trying to hold the line, get it near enough to that top yellow guard to keep the line straight. There is a shot for 3 here.
And it's flirting right with where it starts to get really straight. So it's tricky, but you had an opportunity to go to school on it the last few shots.
So perhaps the decisive shot of the game coming up right here. Can Yui Ozeki thread the needle, get to the nose, and stick around for 3? If she can, they will be right back in this semifinal. Here it comes. This one is tracking a bit wide. It's going to be flirting with those top yellow guards. It is all over those top yellow guards. Pushes the yellow stone around, but it is yet another steal for Team Nakamura. And boy, that is possibly the decisive moment of the game. A chance to score 3 wide, crashing. Another steal for Team Nakamura, and Team Nakamura now command a 6-1 lead in Miyota.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Goldline's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms, light as a feather.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And is the choice of champions.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, Bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Light up your love for curling with our customizable neon LED lights from Letterlands. Choose your new neon mixed doubles partner or make a statement with a neon curling rock in your window. Also actual Letterlands. Use discount code WHOA for 15% off. Only at Letterlands.com.
A very warm welcome back to Miyota. Hans Rauland along with Dave Schmel. Huge 4-point swing on that final stone in the 5th end. Yui Ozeki had a shot for 3. A little wide, a little heavy, a bad combination in that situation. A steal of one, now a commanding 6-1 lead for Team Nakamura. But Dave, we were speaking during the break, and I think it's worth talking about again. You get the feeling that Team Nakamura really got away with one there in the fifth end.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, they had that lead and they started off the end with it, what seemed to be a very conservative end plan with playing the rocks into stones into the house, not letting any clutter coming. Then at the first opportunity, went into guard and steal mode and allowed such an accumulation of rocks. And Team Ozeki made some nice key shots to put themselves in a great position. And they just got away with it with their lives there. That could have completely turned around the game. But instead, they squeak out a steal one and now are firmly in command.
Oh, Dave, you were telling us about your uncle earlier in the game, firing pyrotechnics off the barges in Tokyo. And this is very much a situation where Team Nakamura were playing with fire, but fortunately for them, the explosives didn't go off because it could have really blown up in their faces there in end number 5. Raised double, and there they go. Nice shot.
Yes, absolutely. I'm proud to say that every member of the Schmel family in the pyro business still has all their fingers.
You'd have to rank that as an accomplishment.
And it's really interesting because all of my uncle's progeny, every year, the 4th of July, that being our Independence Day, is a big fireworks day. And all my cousins, no matter what they do in their normal work of life, will be working some fireworks show someplace. They're all carrying on his legacy.
Oh, that's awesome. That stone chips, and it's going to stick around in the rings. And so, potential accumulator there. Probably the first error of the match that we've seen from Haruka Kihara. You do get the feeling that Team Ozeki is going to need to score big here to get this game back in some kind of a manageable distance. You get the feeling that 3 is almost necessary here.
Yeah, so that's where that side biter, hopefully, they're hoping it's going to come into play. Now they're going to draw one underneath, hope for a peel and a run pass, and hope and try manufacture 3 from there.
Tata trying to get behind cover here. Fell by the guard, so they're going to try to sweep it as deep as they can, get as much curl as they can. Covers a piece of the pin.
So for Nakamura, you're just in Red Rock elimination mode right now. You have plenty of time to do it. Even if you give up a deuce, you can consider yourself firmly in command.
Learn their lesson from the 5th end, Dave, and they're really not mucking around with guards in this end. And they get a nice little roll behind that guard as well. So after the half miss on the previous shot, Haruka Kihara, normal service is resumed. That is a beauty.
Now, Hans, if I was taking a run at this right now, I'd be trying to generate something at all costs, and I'd be freezing right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. Clutter up stones anywhere near the scoring area. Keep stuff in play. That appears exactly what they're trying to do, and this is a pretty decent looking shot. They don't want much of a bounce. About a 1 rock width bounce, but that's playable.
It'll play. I'd use another analogy. It's probably in the first cut of rough, but it'll play.
Exactly. About 1 foot of weight away from being perfect, but just visible. for Miori Nakamura. Looks like she's going to throw it pretty hard. Probably doesn't mind too much as we look at the replay. Doesn't mind too much losing the backstone. Urgency in the sweeping call. Are they by the guard? Are they by the guard? It's going to be close. And they wreck.
Oh.
So the good news, if there is any in the miss, is that you've cleared away the center stone, but that little freeze, getting the job done, and we're going to have a timeout now from Team Ozeki as they're recognizing that after that miss, this next shot choice is going to be pretty important. So they're going to take their little bit of extra time to have a chat about it.
I think it's a good time to gather your thoughts here, because you need to think of not just the first shot, but then the next ones after that.
On that wreck, the center guard is now off the center line. There's a great look at it. Thank you very much. So we can see the guards in a corner guard position. So if you're going to play into the rings, into the scoring area in the 4-foot, you're not going to have any protection from the front stone.
You could elect to draw underneath the corner guard.
Yep, I was just going to speculate about exactly that. You make a play on the yellow now. There's going to be doubles set up all over the place and no protection.
You could also make a case to throw a guard, maybe a tight guard, maybe about a foot or so off the house, or maybe just nibbling to force a double back, because you're probably going to need a half shot here realistically to score 3 at this point.
I agree. So
the advantage of throwing another guard would be you'd be leaving another one of your rocks that's usable later.
Yeah, I think biting front 12, showing half of the red on the outside would not be a silly call. As you said, Dave, you could try to draw underneath. The question is it going to curl enough to get cover behind that center guard? Yeah, as we look at it and as we think about the options ourselves during the timeout, I do think that thought of trying to bite top house gives you maybe the most options. There are 4 stones to come, but they are looking now at playing the freeze on the yellow stone.
I don't mind this.
Yeah, any called shot is great if you make it. It's a question about how much tolerance have you got if you're just a little bit off.
This is definitely a quite a high precision shot, because if you leave any bit of a gap, you're inviting 2 of your own rocks to be removed, and you really can't afford to lose 2 rocks with 1 throw right now.
So we do believe after the timeout, the discussion believes that the shot is an attempted freeze on the yellow stone. Challenge getting there this way. You have to curl past the stone in front of it, but then hope the stone doesn't over curl the target rock. So a very, very difficult shot here from Mao Ishigaki. Now it's a bit of an audible. They're going to be playing their own stone. It's not going to curl enough to get to the yellow, so they decide to push their own stone back in the 8-foot. Accumulating reds, that's not terrible either. That 1 yellow stone in the ring is pretty lonely right now.
Yeah, you see the 3 red stones there. So clearly that's going to give you some pause. So looking at this, you could try to set it up like you're trying to set up any other type of force. Now, that double that they just motioned to is certainly available. It's a long way to go. but it does line up fairly naturally.
Looked at a couple of options here. I think the play is the cross house double. We also make a double straight back. Thing you don't want to do is over curl here and jam, of course. But she's going to go by the yellow stone and red stone entirely. It's her own stone. Pushes it out to the edge of the 8-foot. That is disastrous. Team Nakamura. And now the door is open for a 3 and maybe a 4 for Team Ozeki. What a turnaround.
Wow. Besides that, how do you like the rest of the play, Mrs. Lincoln?
Jeepers creepers. Out of all the things that was that straight path. We've seen this throughout the tournament. In turn side, going back towards the glass will run straight. And if you miss the stick, it is never coming back.
So now almost an embarrassment of riches.
It is. And looks like they're electing to play into the back of the 4-foot. I do wonder, well, do you like this play? My instinct was to remove the opponent's stone and lie 4 personally.
That's where I went to first. Throwing this stone protects a multiple score, but I mean, with only two stones for Team Nakamura to come, I'd be looking to try to throw up a big crooked number, because we get a good look at it here. They're going to take a look at it, and it looks like they're going to try to make a play on the back stone, which would leave them sitting second and third shot, which would probably get them out of dodge here.
Pretty important, though, Dave, that they save the shooter here. They can't really afford to roll out.
Oh,
so
yes.
The weight is going to be interesting.
Absolutely. If they don't lie 2-3 after this, they're still in, they're going to be giving up 3 most likely.
Masaki Tanaka trying to clean up from Miori Nakamura's miss. And they jump this one right out of hand. I wonder if this one has been started at all. Is she by the top stone? Clips it. Pushes it across. Well. Red line 2, I believe.
Yeah, it's 2 red at the moment. So it looks like they're going to elect to lie 3. I was able to get a quick look over at the other sheet there. We had our first deuce scored. So Yoshimura now has a 4-3 lead after 6.
Wow, what a close game there is in the other semifinal. And in our feature match, even though there's a 5-point gap, that gap could be narrowing in a big way here in end number 6.
Now it's possible. I think they just went back to the Would you ever just take out the yellow now and say, go ahead and make the good draw?
It's pretty tempting. I think that is not a crazy call. We saw what happened earlier on in the game when Yui Ozeki had to make a draw against 4. You make a little slip up and all of a sudden it's a steal of 3. So never a bad thing to make your opponent look at a lot of granite on their last. But they are making the come around attempt. Clear. It's going to get to the button and it's going to come to rest right on the front pin. Good weight. And importantly, good angles as well. So if they do chase shot rock, it is set up to jam.
Well, he has some options here, but the one that jumps out to me right away would be to freeze down to what was just thrown and concede 1 here.
They're looking at hitting second shot. And as you said, Dave, one little misstep here. If you ever hit this one and roll out of the rings, you're leaving your opponent a fairly straightforward shot for 4. What an end this has turned out to be.
Oh, that's
Glad
for
you're
sure.
with us wherever you are in the world. This has turned into something intriguing all of a sudden. Saki Tanaka has to save the shooter. Has to save the shooter. Gets it to nose. No roll. Now, nose hit for 3.
And right back in the game.
So Team Ozeki looking to take maximum advantage of that uncharacteristic error from Miori Nakamura. Chance to punish that in a big way here. Follow that one down that Tanaka just threw. Same kind of line, same kind of weight. And you will score 3. Sweeper's not laying a brush to it yet. Will it curl enough? This one is tracking a bit wide, and it is going to clip, and it is going to spill, so it's an opportunity lost. 2 on the board, but they could have used that 3 in the biggest of ways, but they spill, roll out. Nakamura leads it 6-3 as we head for the 7th end in Miyota.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
A trip to Karuizawa in the spring. Only takes 1 hour by Shinkansen to Karuizawa from Tokyo. You can enjoy abundant nature and various experiences. Visit Karuizawa in the spring.
Welcome back. It is the 7th end of play here in Miyota at the World Curling Tour of Japan. New Year Curling in Miyota 2024. Thanks, Round Lob here, along with Dave Schmel. And after an absolutely enthralling 6th end, we head for the 7th. Team Nakamura enjoying a 3-point lead and the hammer. We talked about how they got away with playing with fire in the 5th end. And it happened again in the 6th end. Sometimes it's your day, Dave, and Team Nakamura, even though they've got a 3-point lead on the scoreboard and they're holding last rock, I think they'll be considering themselves pretty fortunate to be in the position that they are in, because Team Ozeki have had chances to score big.
Absolutely, Hans. I mean, they tiptoed their way through a minefield there, and they even laid some of the mines.
Exactly. Who put that there? Oh, we did. So guards are up. Stone in the rings. You do get the feeling that if Team Nakamura can simply score here on the 7th end, they would be booking their place in the final.
Yeah, they just need to hold serve here. They got away with it the last end. Gotten away with it a couple times. And if you're Ozeki here, you need to embrace clutter. I know that this is tempting to play on right now, but I think I'd probably still be throwing more clutter up there.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yuna Harada taking the fist bump. Throw them into the pile. Close your eyes, draw a breath, and hope for the best, really. It's all or nothing time now for Team Ozeki. Get the hit, get the little roll, squirt it onto the front of the button. Very nicely played, but with that Yellowstone sitting just short of the 4-foot, scoring area is pretty snug.
And now we're going to fire away. We're going to see a contrail come off this delivery, most likely.
We will see if Haruka Kihara fires up the Shinkansen weight. Here it comes. She's had a single, double, and triple takeout in this game, and this one is the quiet takeout, the dreaded quiet hit. So the center guards survive. Haruka says, sorry, straight spot got me too.
Well, she's
Miori
not.
Nakamura must be thinking, oh gosh, how do we keep getting into these situations?
And she's not the first victim of that straight spot. It's happened so many times this weekend. And really, that's really what goes into this game. It's just like any other sport. We've grown so accustomed to the ice conditions being flawless on the big tour events that the emphasis has been made on shot making, but it's kind of taken a little bit of the art of ice reading and game calling out of it, which is really a big part of the game for the majority of curlers.
That's an excellent point, Dave, and I agree. The slightly lost art of ice reading is being tested to the max here in Miyota. It's not that the ice conditions are unplayable, quite the opposite. It's been very enjoyable, but little spots here and there.
And it's been consistent down those spots. So it's just a matter of trusting yourself and acknowledging what you're seeing.
Determination in the expression of Haruka Kihara on this one after her miss on the first. Hoping for a little bit of double action on the top. Just got the one. That opens up the center line. Good shot.
And we're going to see some guards go up and get peeled a few times here, I would think.
We already know that Team Ozeki's going to have to take on considerable risk here. And I do find myself wondering, is a steal of 1 enough? Or do you have to take even more risk to try and steal 2?
No, I definitely think you have to go for 2. You're going to, doesn't matter whether it's this end or the next end, but either way, you're really got your back up against the wall. And we've seen how quickly things can flip here with opportunity and fortunes changing so quickly. So you have to take the opportunity while you have it. And now with that guard not exactly guarding much of anything, it's going to present an opportunity to fire right down Broadway here.
So this is an opportunity for Team Nakamura. Here is Miori Nakamura. Well, this one is all over the front guard. Gosh almighty. She was trying to run the port. That was not even close.
So here you go. Now you need to embrace that color. You don't care what color the guard is. A guard is a happy guard as far as you're concerned.
I saw Miori point at something as we just cut away on the camera. I do wonder if maybe her rock picked, because that was surprisingly far from her intended target. But on to the next shot we go. We can see them doing a little bit of housekeeping in the background. All hands on deck. They want to get it across this hog line, of course, but I'm not sure they're going to get it there. Oh, no, it's just going to be 1 rock length short. Not what you need when you're trying to pull yourself back to 3 down.
And that is an unfortunate outcome there. So now you got to take another run at this port, and I'd be coming with a little bit more weight here, because if you come into contact with those guards, you could end up with a double peel and opening things up. Ultimately, you either need to address the shot rock, get rid of the guards, or both.
So much as Kihara missed on her first, hard to make up on it with her second. It's the same situation for Miori Nakamura. I think her first rock might have picked. Having another crack at trying to run the port. Make the promotion. This looks pretty good. Yellow to red. Red is in motion. Is it going to get out of the rings? Yes, it will. Terrific shot there from Miori Nakamura. That could be a game clincher.
Yes, because importantly, and they keep both the stones in the house. They sit 1-2 now. So in order to set up any kind of steal, let alone a multiple steal, it's going to require a minor miracle probably at this point. So it's going to start with making a draw, though. Just a matter of what turn you want. And there they go. They're going to play that swing side, staying away from the boards where it's been running a little bit straighter. I think that's wise.
Nudging the target line of the brush out into the middle of that 12-foot circle. We have seen a couple of times if you get outside that brush line, it can tend to run a little bit straighter before it makes a move.
Just going to make that point myself, Hans, and it's been a minute since we've thrown one out that wide, so the weight might not be quite as automatic.
This one does not look heavy. Going to come up short of the rings. Terrific line. Here's the sigh of the sweepers. Did everything they could to get it as far as they could, but they were never going to get that on the rings. So now a situation, a really happy situation for Team Nakamura. Now you know that the worst you're going to be is 2 upcoming home with, but chance to potentially end the game right here. If you can sink another one behind cover, score a multiple, you might be able to shake hands and Get a little bit of extra rest before the final. Not going to curl very much here, though, or are they playing? What do you think they're playing here, Dave?
It looks like they're playing to draw in. I agree. I don't think it is going to curl very much there. She looks like she may have set it out just a touch.
Here's the stopwatch rattling against the broom handle. Well by that guard. Trying to outcount that red stone if they can, but I think it's going to come up a fraction light. They seem to be primarily concerned about protecting the shot rock on that shot to me. So mission accomplished in that department.
So now ultimately you're going to have to be counting here or else it's game, set, and match. You see there?
Yeah, she has to come even wider down that path as well, Dave.
Even wider, or you could play the other turn close to the high guard, which is it's probably makeable.
Yeah,
you could maybe even chisel off of it and get her in.
Mm-hmm. A wry smile from Yui Ozeki. Trying to stay in the game. Needs to get into shot rock position and needs to get behind cover. And even if she does that, it will be at best a steal of one. Adding that little bit of extra weight tracks that stone a little bit straighter. It's going to slide deep. Is it going to stay in the 8-foot? It's going to come back into the red. And Nakamura is lying too. And now, can they get at that stone on the edge, Dave? Is there? Well, they're just talking about tapping. There's no nose hit on the stone in the left-hand side for 4, so tap for 3.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, totally. Take that and smile all day long. 2 in the bank already. A chance to put the game away. And Misaki Tanaka just needs to promote this stone about 2 rock widths. It'll be a 3 on the board and probably game over. It might be game over regardless. Now this one's over. Curling is going to crash the front red. So it will only be a 2, but is 2 enough? Yes, arigato gozaimashita. Thank you very much. This game is over. And Team Nakamura are absolutely rolling along. Unbeaten coming into this semifinal game, scoring a 2 in the 7th end, giving them an 8-3 victory, and they roll on into the final. Miori Nakamura and her teammates from Aomori, 8-3 winners over Yui Ozeki and her team from Tokyo. Dave, final thoughts? This should be a very, very well-positioned final now for Team Nakamura. Their confidence must be sky high.
Absolutely. It's was good execution by Nakamura when it counted. Now, looking back, they're going to probably say that they left too many opportunities out there on the table, but ultimately they're going to come away with a victory and have an opportunity to play in the finals. And taking a look over at that game, it was a steal of a single point for Sakaya Yoshimura. So they are 5-3. Mia Ueno has the hammer coming the ace, so that's going to come right down to the wire over there too.
So it's a very, very happy new year for Miori Nakamura and her teammates. They are on to the final in Miyota. The final we screened at a later date, but that will do it for us here in the semifinals. For Dave Schmel, I'm Hans Frauenlob. Thank you very, very much for joining us right through this tournament in Miyota. The finals yet to come. Happy New Year from Miyota. A bow to the crowd. From Team Ozeki, thanks for joining us from Miyota. We've had a great time. So long for now.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.